Monti Ossenfort's got some options ahead of next week's trade deadline. How many does he have? What could they look like? Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter at Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code all lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. This is going to be a fun show. Tomorrow is going to be a fun show. Donnie Druin from Sports Illustrated, one of my buddies, going to join me to talk about the Cardinals, talk about the win over Miami, talk about the outlook for the trade deadline the next couple weeks, where the Cardinals have Chicago and the Jets at home before their bye week and everything in between. Was it an offensive fluke that we witnessed in Miami, or is it legitimate? Darius Robinson is back, 27th overall pick, officially activated off of IR, who's more than likely set to play on Sunday after an injury setback, as well as his mother sadly passing away a few weeks ago. But first and foremost, what the hell is Monti Ossenfort going to do ahead of the trade deadline, if anything? Conventional wisdom would think he would sit on his damn hands, because that's what he's done up until this point. Things have worked. Things have been a little bit slower than expected in the roster construction element, maybe more so than people would have liked, especially on the defensive side of the ball, naturally. I wanted to take 8 minutes and discuss how there are zero barriers on what Monti Ossenfort could do for the future of this team. They've got all their draft picks. They've got a boatload of cheese. I think they're going to have $118 million to spend at the start of next season, which is more than all of the NFC West teams combined at this point. Let's now take a breath, okay? These are things that the Arizona Cardinals are capable of doing by the metrics regarding the draft capital they have and the money they have to spend, okay? I'm just painting a picture for what's possible. The depths of the sea, the farthest star away, the Cardinals have options to do anything. And just an example, these aren't things that we've heard in the media yet. These aren't things that maybe are likely to happen. But as an exercise for you, everydayers, I'm going to do this for you. If the Cardinals wanted to trade for Myles Garrett and Maxx Crosby, they could. Okay? That's kind of where we are right now. Okay? This is the exercise. Monti Ossenfort, if I were him, I'm looking at teams that are having a bad year. I'm looking at teams that are perennially losing organizations. I'm looking at teams that don't have great quarterback play, and you're looking at defensive players. If the Cardinals wanted to call the Joe Shad, I think is – no, that's the Dolphins. If they want to call the GM of the New York Giants and offer a first-round pick plus for Dexter Lawrence, they could do that. Because the Cardinals are at a position now, the overwhelming reason why I'm doing this mini exercise here for a segment is the Cardinals don't need to get younger. They don't. You'll have your draft picks. The Cardinals have draft picks, not only to draft players, but also to potentially use those as leverage to bring in veteran talent. And something that I can't believe I have to actually say out of my pie hole is just because you're trading away a first-round pick or paying a player that you're trading for a lot of money in an extension form, you're going to get that player. It's not like you're trading away a first-round pick and it becomes fugazi. It's a Ponzi scheme, and you give up a first-round pick for literally nothing. I don't understand why people's thought process is, oh, they're giving up too much. You're going to have to pay them a lot of money. Yeah, great players are rewarded with more money than bad players. So with the defensive situation the Cardinals have talent-wise, if you told me they gave a first and a third for Maxx Crosby, cool. It's a top 5 pass rusher in the game. immediately makes his team better. B.J. Ojulari coming back next year. Hopefully Darius Robinson, we'll discuss in the next segment, can level up quicker than, a rookie who hasn't played a game coming into week 9. If you want to offer Cleveland a second-round pick for Myles Garrett, you'll have to eventually probably pay him a little bit more. Dude, you get Myles Garrett. You're not just giving away draft capital and paying people money and you're not getting that player. Do you understand how ridiculous that sounds that I have to say that? People are having conversations where I feel like they don't remember that they get the player that they're paying for with the contract that they give them, whether it be, or the draft capital they give up. The Arizona Cardinals and Monti Ossenfort's options are endless. If you want to make the Cardinals relevant this season, they have the assets to do so. And that is something that is going to be a major point of contention between fans and the Cardinals if Monti Ossenfort doesn't do something before the draft, and it's already started. It takes, at this point, from what we've seen from the secondary, Garrett Williams has been excellent this year. Max Melton's been okay. He would have been average to slightly above average if they have any sort of semblance of pass rush, which makes a rookie's job a lot easier than what he's had to experience so far in his NFL career. If you trade for a pass rusher at this point, and this is shifted from what I discussed early in the season, because we have more evidence now. They don't need to trade for 2 pass rushers. They don't need to bring in multiple pieces to make an impact. All they need to do, Monti Ossenfort needs to do, is bring in somebody that opposing offenses have to scheme for. Because the Cardinals don't have anybody right now. You probably say Budda Baker. That's about it. Imagine how much easier Kazir White and Mack Wilson's job would be if there was some sort of presence, whether it be in the interior of the defensive line or off the edge. I trust Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rallis implicitly to get the most out of a defense without any talent. Imagine what would happen if they actually brought in a bona fide star at pass rusher. They've got the money to spend. They don't have to get younger. If you told me they traded away 4 of their draft picks next year and brought in 2 players, I'd be like, sign me up. They don't need to get younger. They don't need that draft capital right now. I would 1,000,000% punt on the 2025 draft if that meant bringing in 2 players of consequence right now. And it's not a rush tactic. It's not moving the ball down the road too quickly. This is a situation where the Cardinals are a dormant volcano, okay? They're not extinct. They're not a year away. They're a dormant volcano, and the only thing that's keeping them from turning into an active volcano is a little bit of star power on the defensive side of the ball. That's it. So when you look at the pre-trade deadline options for Monti Ossenfort, there is no number. He has the capability to transform this defense within a week and make the Cardinals an instant playoff contender this year. Not Super Bowl contender, okay? But if they have some sort of formidable pass rush for the rest of the season, the Cardinals could win 10 games. They could 1,000,000% win the division, and maybe they could surprise some people in the playoffs. So I know that, the purists are like, no, keep the draft picks, man. Oh, that's so much monies to spend. Are you playing dynasty mode on Madden? Or are you watching the Arizona Cardinals and want them to win this year? They're not that far off. They are a 0-1 jump away, but they're not that far off. And they have all of the assets in all of the lands to make it happen right now. Will Monti Ossenfort do it? I don't know. Should he? It's not a bona fide yes, because I feel like it's a fool's errand to say something is absolutely anything. But I do believe that if it's calculated and you're not giving away 2026 draft capital, they've got so many picks and so much money that if they added 2 defensive pieces before the trade deadline, I wouldn't be shocked because they do it without torching the Cardinals' chance for 2025 if these players aren't 1,000,000% of what they are expected to be. Could be fun. November 5th, baby. Woo! I mean, fast and furious till then. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Darius Robinson is back. Yippee. What does it mean? Next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at DoorDash. So here's the thing. It's an on-demand delivery platform. Download the app. It's a DoorDash app. So say you're working from home. Say it's Sunday. You're like, I don't want to leave my house. We got football up. We need snacks. We slept in. We need snacks. The DoorDash app has you covered. Booze. You can buy alcohol. Okay? You must be 21 and order alcohol. 21 plus to order alcohol and drink responsibly, obviously. It's only available in select markets, but it's there for select markets. Say you're working, or say it's game day, and you're like, listen, I could go to the store, I could go pick up some food, I could go do this, but I'm gonna miss kickoff. DoorDash. Like it delivers. So for those who don't know what DoorDash is, it's an app, and there's only some places that deliver on their own. DoorDash has you covered for the majority of the others. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cheat code to be able to get food, groceries, booze, boop, right to your front door. Download the app. Use promo code LOCKEDFALL24 for 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order. Limited time offer. Terms apply. Promo is not valid for orders containing alcohol. DoorDash. Your day, your door to game day greatness. Your door to more. Download the DoorDash app now to order your game day favorites. Must be 21 plus to order alcohol. Drink responsibly. Alcohol available only in select markets. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. Like, we're getting hot and heavy, man. We've got basketball. We've got football. We've got the World Series for another day, at least. And college football, college basketball is right around the corner. And FanDuel has you covered for all of it. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets with your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. I'm Alex Clancy. Go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. Turn notifications on. Leave a review if you want wherever you get podcasts. You know that I'm just happy that you're here, and I mean it. I mean it. I'm giddy when I talk about the Cardinals now. I mean, I always am because, I've been in sports radio since 2011. I've seen some things. And I said going into this season, I thought this was going to be the most exciting season that I've experienced in my 8 years hosting this podcast. And I think it is, because one thing, and this is not breaking my moratorium can I get some kudos? I haven't said one word about Cliff Kingsbury and Steve Keim as it directly correlated to the construct of this roster right now since my moratorium started, and I won't. This is comparing the last regime to this one, which is a completely different thing. It doesn't break the moratorium, so get off my keister. What the Cardinals obtained after removing the last regime was possibility and opportunity. The restrictor plate was removed from this organization. And that's why I think it's so exciting now, because in 2021, it's like it wasn't if, it was when things were going to crumble. I saw it from week one. It's not difficult when the same mistakes are being made all the time, whether the Cardinals are winning or losing. And now this head coaching staff isn't perfect. They've hit their lumps. This is their second year ever in their respective positions with Nick Rallis, Drew Petzing, and Jonathan Gannon. Okay, I think they've done pretty well overall. Why 2024 is more exciting than the rest that I've experienced is because the opportunity and possibility for positive things to happen are there. So even if you see the showing in Green Bay, which was terrible, you see the showing against Washington, which was a surprise, which was terrible. Kudos to Cliff for calling a great game that day. Every week, we know before turning that game on, they're going to be prepared. They're going to be a cohesive unit. They're going to be well coached, and they're going to have a chance to win. What are the expectations for Darius Robinson on Sunday at home against Chicago in his first NFL action? I saw it in the comments. I love it. I love when some of the things, the dumb things that I say resonate. The oh no moments. That's what you don't want to see. I think that's it. Like, lest we forget, in the preseason of their rookie and second years, Isaiah Simmons and Zaven Collins are completely lost at the NFL level in the preseason. If Darius Robinson comes in, gets a pressure, gets behind the line of scrimmage, Caleb Williams is tough to take down, and this offensive line is bad, okay? So if the Cardinals are able to get pressure on Caleb Williams, force him to make a mistake, he's usually pretty good with the football. He does huck it all over the yard, but, I mean, that's something that, like, that's my litmus test. Is he going to look lost? Is he going to get beat up by an offensive line that's not great? Or are we going to see the other side where the dude eats right out the gate? If they can get interior pressure, and this is something that becomes a mainstay for this defense in some form or fashion. I'm not saying it at all pro level. I'm just saying something. This level up is something that the offense is going to need to be able to take advantage of. And hopefully they can win more games than they lose down the stretch. Like, if Darius Robinson comes in as a difference maker right away, this defense is completely different. It makes Max Melton's job easier. It makes Garrett Williams even more with the potential of being elite. It makes Kazir White and Mac Wilson's job easier. Imagine being able to get some push from the interior or the edge, whether he's handed the dirt or standing up, Darius Robinson. And you could have Kazir White and Mac Wilson blitz, whether it be through the interior or off the edge. Like, Mac Wilson and Kazir White are maybe the two hardest hitters the Cardinals have. So imagine getting any sort of push in the interior of the defensive line or off the edge. It opens up Pandora's box for the rest of the defense. What are their actual expectations for Darius Robinson? It comes down to no, oh no moments. That's it. If he's getting pancaked left and right by an offensive line that's not great, you get one pass, you probably get two passes. I just don't think that's going to happen. The dude's a beast. He's big, he's strong, he's tall, he's got great hands, he's got great bend for a guy his size. Like, I know that he wasn't the sexiest name coming out of the draft. But with Monti Ossenfort's track record, and I think that even though a lot of it is still future pacing because the rookie classes, this is their first year, Paris Johnson Jr. is the left tackle of the future. Garrett Williams is CB1 of the future. We'll see what happens with John Gaines, who was the fourth-round pick 2 years ago. Dante Stills seems to be the best interior defensive lineman the Cardinals have right now. Marvin Harrison Jr. Max Melton looks okay. Tip Ryman's been good for the situation that he's being put in. Like, if you trust Monty, and you trust that when we were watching the inside the Cardinals of whatever it was, the no-fly zone, whatever it was, when he was like, three more picks. He knew who his guy was. And Darius Robinson is his guy. Darius Robinson activated off IR. Darius Robinson's first game action on Sunday. I trust Monti Ossenfort with what he's shown us so far through the draft. And I think that's fair enough. The expectations for Sunday. No, oh no moments. That's it. And I don't think that's unfair with the dude coming off 2 injuries. His mom just passing away. Like, if he can lead the charge on the defensive front for the Cardinals, and he can do it, if we see flashes of that potential before the bye week, we could be having a completely different conversation come after the bye week when the Cardinals calendar, when their schedule lightens up heavily compared to what they experienced through the first 8 weeks. And I'm going to talk to Donnie Druin a little bit more about this because he's at practice. He talks, he's close to the pulse with Darius Robinson, his talent level, his status right now, health-wise, and what he thinks will be the impact made by the rookie come Sunday. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. I'm going to talk about this once, and then we're going to pivot to Sunday starting tomorrow, and then crossover Thursday with Lauren Cox from Locked on Bears. Was the offense a fluke on Sunday? All you Kyler Murray haters, this segment is for you. You're welcome. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at Hillsdale College. Time is our most precious commodity, so don't waste it scrolling through the same mind-numbing content for hours and hours. How can you spend it wisely to improve yourself? Our sponsor, Hillsdale College, is offering more than 40 free online courses, including Constitution 101, the meaning and history of the Constitution, Introduction to Free Market Economics, The Great American Story, A Land of Hope, The Rise and Fall of the Roman Republic, and a brand new documentary-style course on Marxism, socialism, and communism. All of Hillsdale courses are self-paced, so you can start whenever and tune in wherever. Plus, you can go deeper with readings, quizzes, discussions, or just enjoy the lectures. Go right now to hillsdale.edu/lockedon to enroll. There's no cost, and it's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/lockedon to register, hillsdale.edu/lockedon. Today's episode of Locked on Cardinals is also brought to you by Prize Picks. I love Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy. The app, super clean. They've got over 10 million users with billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has, it makes it accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Deposits are easy. They take Apple Pay. Withdrawals are easy. You can get your cheese. So say you cash, you can get your money in your account in as little as 15 minutes. That's insane. It's absolutely insanity. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 off instantly, or $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Please go to the YouTube channel. It says Locked on Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. Turn notifications on. I'm stoked. I don't know if you could hear that. I'm stoked. 4-4. The offense looked for 45 minutes last week. Looked as picture perfect as you want it to be. Not perfect. I mean, I feel like as Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing start to evolve together, and a lot of this is going to be on Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing. Like, there are reports out that Drew Petzing calling the plays. Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. just aren't on the same page yet. What I discussed yesterday and what I'll just highlight for a second today is the difference from early in the season to Sunday against the Dolphins. Early in the season, it looked produced. It was 2 elite athletes living off that and just making plays, which is fine. 1,000,000% not sustainable. What we saw in week 8 was natural, organic pitch and catch. They've been in the lab. They've been watching film together, and they probably have been up until this point. But things start to click when you start to find out what each other's strengths are, the nuances between being an elite athlete and what makes you an elite athlete. And it's different for both players. Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. couldn't be different. Build, position, obviously, and, history of how they played football. Like, this is something that I don't think is a fluke. It's going to come down to Kyler Murray naturally. But I do think that when the Cardinals put up the points that they did in the way that they did, with James Conner pretty much held at bay, even though he scored a touchdown. That shows so much more promise for the future with this offense than if they won the game when James Conner ran for 180 yards. Like, James Conner's been great. Everybody still says Budda Baker and James Conner should go at the end of the year. I think people are out of their minds. The fact that it was the pass game that was the catalyst. The fact that Kyler Murray threw for over 300 yards for the first time in a while. I think that was over double the amount of yards that he threw the week before. The fact that Kyler Murray on 3rd and 4 used his legs on a quarterback off tackle a speed off tackle, whatever the play call was, and he juked the hell out of he was either linebacker or a corner to get the first down and more to be able to run the clock out and set up Chad Ryland's game-winning field goal. Like, that's how the Cardinals will show the growth of this offense. This is a run-first team, okay? And it doesn't have to be. We just know that up until this point, with Jonathan Gannon, Drew Petzing, and Nick Rallis, that was the best way to not embarrass themselves on game day. James Conner is the best offensive player last year. Give him the rock. Over and over and over and over again. Oh, RPO'd. Josh Dobbs, 45-yard touchdown run over safety against the Giants. Win a football. It's like, doesn't make any sense why you would make it a pass-first offense when you have that situation. Now, it allows the conversation to lessen the percentage of run and increase the percentage of pass. And increasing the percentage of pass could very well be Trey McBride run 5 yards, turn around. Like, we're not talking about just throwing the ball down the field or sweeping drag routes like we saw with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray to perfection this past Sunday. Was it an offensive fluke this past Sunday? No. 140 yards plus is pretty much what the Dolphins were giving up in the pass game. Like, the Cardinals doubled that. The Cardinals have, on paper, like, legitimately, on paper, they have a top 12 offense in the league. Looking around the corner to what could be top 5 at its peak. And they're not there yet. Give me a break. I know they're not there. Kyler Murray, James Conner, Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., offensive line that hasn't allowed a sack in 3 weeks. Was it an offensive fluke on this past Sunday? Simply no. Donnie Druin, Sports Illustrated, is going to join me tomorrow to talk about Darius Robinson, to talk about Monti Ossenfort options, what he thinks should happen, and to kind of see what these next 2 weeks are going to look like in the mini homestand before the bye week, at home against the Bears and at home against the Jets in week 10. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you tomorrow.